After nearly an entire era of peace, great beings from all major powers in the universe ocean arrived at the giant humanoid life form and entered its body. Inside the world of Jin's miniature universe, numerous palace-type true treasures from the 3 reincarnation eras and the 2 holy lands gathered for the first large-scale invasion of the world of Jin. Luo Feng, using his new perfect life-level remote ocean body, led 36 universe masters from the Han Alliance. He warned them about the dangers of the world of Jin and military service, explaining that after joining the army, they would have to rely on themselves. Primal Chaos City leader reminded Luo Feng to focus primarily on his own safety. When the world of Jin's membrane walls turned white, allowing easier entry, countless palace treasures entered the world. Survivors from the first era could also be seen leaving. Luo Feng transferred the Han Alliance Universe Masters from Star Tower into the boat of Mausoleum before departure. Primal Chaos City leader noticed Luo Feng's divine body had weakened to about 80%. Luo Feng explained that he had consumed a large amount of divine power while using the second stage of extermination to kill a beast true god. Since replenishing divine power inside the world of Jin was difficult, he used the proximity of his earthling body and golden-horned beast body within the boat of Mausoleum to restore his strength. Meanwhile, rampaging devil god proudly displayed his new treasures, including a supreme true treasure battleship and a secret technique for burning divine power. He even rammed a divine I-clan palace treasure. And despite their anger, they chose not to confront him because of his growing strength. Luo Feng then led the boat of Mausoleum toward the world of Jin. At the same time, Purple Moon Holy Land sent nearly 100 universe masters into the world of Jin with a secret mission: locate Luo Feng and seek military assistance to eliminate him through a soul attack, which would destroy all his bodies permanently. They followed Luo Feng's group into the world. In the second era, more than 1,000 universe masters from various powers entered the world of Jin. About 600 came from the first reincarnation era alone. The number was expected to increase dramatically in future eras as more information about the world of Jin became available. Luo Feng reviewed the mission to earn a title at Godly King Valley, home of the Godly King who created Wu Qi God. The mission required participants to enter the 9-story Wu Qi Tower and reach the 9th floor. A feat only the Godly King had ever accomplished. Success would grant a title and countless benefits, while survivors would receive 10,000 military credits. Although failure carried no official punishment, the mission had an extremely high mortality rate of around 90%. Even among elite lawmasters equipped with powerful treasures. Realizing the danger, Luo Feng reminded himself that death would cost him all his valuable treasures. Meanwhile, the captain tried to recruit 9 new warriors into his team, but Ku Fa opposed him, warning that the captain's group had already suffered heavy losses and might not survive future missions. Wu He chose to join Ku Fa's troop, and the uncertain recruits looked to Luo Feng for guidance. Luo Feng advised them that Ku Fa lacked the power to sacrifice them even if she wished to, convincing the recruits to join her side. The captain's warriors angrily accused Luo Feng of making an enemy of their captain. Luo Feng dismissed the captain as unworthy of concern and departed with Ku Fa, Wu He, and the others through a wormhole. The captain restrained his anger and chose not to act against Luo Feng for the moment, though his subordinates were puzzled by his unusual restraint. Outside the East Army camp, numerous warriors emerged from wormholes to carry out missions. Hidden nearby, 10 universe masters from Purple Moon Holy Land continuously monitored the area under orders from Purple Moon Ancestor, waiting for Luo Feng to appear. As warriors from various special army units emerged, they carefully watched each group. When Luo Feng and the Python River Army appeared, Ku Fa and Wu He asked about his plans. Luo Feng simply said he had important matters to attend to, although his appearance had changed slightly and was concealed by armor. The observers noticed that he was called Milky Way, drawing their attention. One Purple Moon Universe Master secretly approached and passed by Luo Feng, confirming through his life aura that he was indeed Luo Feng. Luo Feng also sensed the familiar aura of a Purple Moon Holy Land Universe Master and realized he had likely been recognized. However, he remained unconcerned, knowing Purple Moon Holy Land held no authority within the world of Jin. He boarded a battleship and departed. The Purple Moon Universe Masters immediately reported the discovery to Purple Moon Ancestor. After confirming Luo Feng's identity and learning that he served in the Python River Army under the name Milky Way, Purple Moon Ancestor ordered a full investigation into his exact unit. He instructed them not to attack immediately but to wait until Luo Feng returned to the military camp. Once Luo Feng was back and unable to escape, they would set a deadly trap and launch their assassination attempt. After entering the world of Jin, Purple Moon Holy Land lost track of Luo Feng when the boat of Mausoleum teleported away. Based on previous intelligence, they believed Luo Feng had likely joined the East Army. Their forces split up among the four major armies, with the largest group heading toward the East Army. Back in the East Army's Python River military camp, Wu He informed Luo Feng that the troop was preparing for a new military mission and that 9 new recruits had joined to replenish losses from their previous disaster-level mission. Luo Feng told Wu He that he would not participate because he had another important task. At Basic Inheritance Island, Luo Feng warned the new recruits to follow Fa rather than the captain, stating that following the captain was dangerous. This further exposed the hostility between Luo Feng and the captain, who had long been jealous of Luo Feng's military credits, treasures, and rapid growth in power. After the troops left to receive their missions, Luo Feng spent nearly a day traveling through the military camp before arriving at the Great Evil Hall. While the other warriors received ordinary military missions, Luo Feng received a special title acquisition mission. To his surprise, the mission pointed him toward Godly King Valley, the former residence of the Godly King, where the opportunity to obtain his title awaited. After leaving for Godly King Valley, Luo Feng's vast remote ocean body in the Primal Secret region had expanded for over 8 million years. Reaching a diameter of more than 2 light years, it became a symbol of human power, inspiring generations of sector lords and undying fighters who regarded Primal Chaos City leader and Milky Way Horde leader as the 2 greatest pillars of humanity. At the center of the endless remote ocean was a vacuum region about 10 billion kilometers wide, filled with countless materials collected from the primal universe, ocean, and the world of Jin. These included metals, plants, special life forms, corpses, true god blood, scales, hair, and even the godly blood forced out from Shi Wu Wanes. Using the inherited technique, Create, Luo Feng analyzed these materials, especially the blood and body parts of true gods. The technique revealed the fundamental structures of life origins, allowing him to compare true god life structures with those of universe masters. His goal was to modify his own life structure and surpass the perfect life gene bottleneck. At the same time, golden horned beast Luo Feng cultivated inside the inheritance space under a 10.000 times time acceleration. He repeatedly broke down and recombined his godly power, testing countless new life structures inspired by his analysis of true god samples. Although countless attempts failed, each failure improved his understanding of life origins. After 160 years of cultivation time, Luo Feng finally succeeded. A newly recombined life structure stabilized, raising his life gene level from the perfect level to 16.000 times. This marked his first breakthrough beyond the perfect gene bottleneck after being stuck for over 8 million years. Golden Horned Beast immediately recombined its entire godly body using the new life structure, becoming significantly stronger. Luo Feng's earthling original body also recombined, reaching the same 16.000 times life gene level, though its godly body temporarily shrank to 60% before being replenished by Golden Horned Beast's godly power. The breakthrough greatly strengthened Luo Feng's godly body and allowed it to support a more powerful god country. If he wished, he could immediately evolve his god country into a miniature universe and advance to the true god stage. However, Luo Feng was not satisfied yet, as the first major level of the godly power root required 30.000 times life gene level. Encouraged by his rapid progress after obtaining true god samples, Luo Feng became confident that he could continue advancing. While more than 100 years passed inside the cultivation space, only 4 days passed in the outside world during his journey aboard the boat of Mausoleum toward Godly King Valley. Half a month later, Luo Feng finally arrived at the enormous continent in the center of the endless ocean, the Godly King Valley. Luo Feng traveled aboard a silver battleship to the Godly King sector, one of the 5 major continents of the world of Jin and the residence of the Godly King. Although much smaller than the 4 army-controlled continents, its unique status made it one of the 5 major lands. As he approached, Luo Feng noticed that the mountains and lakes across the continent resembled enormous law engravings and mysterious formations. The entire landscape contained profound mysteries far beyond his current comprehension. He understood that, as the godly king's residence, the continent was filled with powerful formations, secret techniques, and dangers. Access was normally forbidden, but he was allowed entry because of his mission to receive a title. While flying above the continent in the boat of Mausoleum, Luo Feng was suddenly stopped by a powerful true god of void space named North Kang, one of the guards of Godly King Sector. After verifying Luo Feng's identity as a warrior from the Python River Army carrying out a title-receiving mission, North Kang restored the surrounding space and agreed to guide him to Godly King Valley. During their journey, Luo Feng asked about the mysterious law engravings covering the continent. North Kang explained that the entire Godly King sector was actually a gigantic automaton-type true treasure personally created by the Godly King. It served only as an experimental product, while the Godly King possessed an even greater true version that accompanied him during his travels through endless worlds. Luo Feng was astonished that an entire continent over 1 billion light-years in diameter could be a treasure. Luo Feng also reflected on the strange relationship between the world of Jin and Universe Ocean. While beings from Universe Ocean could enter the world of Jin, the inhabitants of the world of Jin would die if they left it, making it seem as though Universe Ocean held the advantage. Eventually, they arrived above Godly King Valley, the place where the Godly King had often resided. North Kang pointed out the towering 9-story wuxia Tower, the destination of Luo Feng's mission. Before leaving, North Kang wished him luck and expressed hope that he would survive the mission. Luo Feng entered Godly King Valley, where flying was prohibited. He proceeded on foot toward wuxia Tower, which stood over 1.000 light-years tall. At its entrance, he found a true god guardian and 5 lawmasters already waiting. The guardian informed him that warriors entered the tower in groups of 10, and he would have to wait until enough participants arrived. While waiting, Luo Feng met Xu Zhang, a warrior from the Sleeping Dragon Army of the East Army. Xu Zhang was surprised to learn that Luo Feng was a relatively new recruit and praised his strength for qualifying to attempt the title mission so early. Nearly 6 days later, 10 warriors had gathered. Before opening the tower, the single-horned true god guardian warned them that more than half of the warriors from the previous batch had already died inside wuxia Tower. The news shocked everyone, including Luo Feng, since all participants were elite warriors from the 4 armies. Soon, the enormous doors of wuxia Tower slowly opened, releasing dazzling multicolored light and an overwhelming oppressive force. The guardian ordered the 10 warriors to enter, and Luo Feng advanced toward the tower to begin the deadly title-receiving mission. Luo Feng and 9 other elite warriors entered the first level of wuxia Tower. A vast frozen desert, a giant cyan light pillar appeared, displaying the rules of the trial. To advance to the second level, each warrior had to kill another warrior. Anyone who failed to do so before the next batch arrived would be annihilated. And hiding inside treasures was also considered failure. Realizing that at least 5 of the 10 warriors would have to die, everyone immediately began searching for targets. The frozen atmosphere erupted into battle as the warriors attacked one another. Luo Feng was suddenly targeted by 3 opponents at once: a winged beast warrior, a burly warrior wielding a powerful lightning hammer automaton treasure, and Xu Zhang from the East Army. Luo Feng used a true god-level domain treasure that generated countless snowflakes to suppress them and quickly identified Xu Zhang among the attackers. When Luo Feng questioned Xu Zhang's betrayal, Xu Zhang replied that Luo Feng was a new recruit and therefore the easiest target. Luo Feng became furious and charged directly at him. After witnessing Luo Feng's terrifying movement technique, Xu Zhang realized he was outmatched and immediately activated the automaton treasure Bib Bird, transforming into a flying beast and escaping at extreme speed. Luo Feng recognized Bib Bird as a highly expensive escape-type automaton treasure and decided not to pursue Xu Zhang. Xu Zhang, however, regretted his decision, realizing he had unknowingly targeted the strongest warrior in the group. Seeing Xu Zhang flee, the other 2 attackers also attempted to escape. The hammer-wielding warrior used black wings to fly away quickly, while the beast warrior was slower. Luo Feng chose to chase the beast warrior, activating the automaton treasure Golden Claw God and burning his divine power to the first stage. Luo Feng transformed into a giant humanoid beast with massive golden claws and rapidly closed the distance. The beast warrior was shocked by Luo Feng's speed and realized he could neither escape nor effectively fight back. Using the first stage of the blade technique extermination, Luo Feng attacked with overwhelming skill and superior movement. The beast warrior's attacks were easily avoided. While his defenses were gradually broken, Luo Feng relentlessly struck him with his golden claws and blade-like legs, forcing him toward the desert and tearing away his scales one after another. Luo Feng activated the Golden Claw God, greatly increasing his power and completely suppressing the scaled strange beast. The beast had created a level 6 technique, mastered the first level of godly power burning techniques, and could unleash level 7 power. Its machine-type claw treasure further amplified attack power by 3 levels, allowing attacks at level 10. But it provided no enhancement to defense or evasion. Because of Luo Feng's superior movement and body techniques, the beast could barely hit him, while Luo Feng repeatedly landed attacks. Even when struck, Luo Feng remained unharmed thanks to his own defenses and the Golden Claw God. In contrast, every successful attack significantly weakened the beast's godly body. The observing soldiers were shocked. They realized Luo Feng's body techniques, claw techniques, and machine-type valuables made him overwhelmingly dangerous. Although the Golden Claw God was not especially attack-oriented, Luo Feng's claw techniques maximized its offensive power. All the soldiers concluded that they should avoid provoking him, and Xu Zhang regretted not befriending Luo Feng earlier, believing his assistance would have been invaluable on later levels of Wuxia Tower. During the battle, Luo Feng continuously slashed the scaled strange beast, reducing its godly body until its strength had fallen by 80%. Desperate, the beast begged for mercy and even offered all its valuables. Luo Feng refused, explaining that he needed to kill a soldier to advance to the second level and that the beast would not survive future challenges anyway. Since the beast had attacked him first, Luo Feng felt no sympathy. Eventually, the beast was completely annihilated. After the battle, Luo Feng collected all the valuables left behind, including the beast's black claw machine-type treasure. He reflected on how advanced the world of Jin's ancient civilization was, especially regarding machine-type valuables. Such treasures could dramatically enhance a lawmaster's power and even allow them to challenge true gods. He noted that a universe master combining godly power-burning techniques with machine-type valuables could reach a power level comparable to Teacher Origin in Universe Ocean. Luo Feng understood that his victory was mainly due to his exceptional speed and evasion abilities. He considered killing more soldiers to obtain additional treasures for humanity, the Earthlings, and the Luo family. However, the remaining soldiers regarded him as a major threat and kept their distance. Deciding to wait for the next level, Luo Feng reasoned that most participants would die anyway and that he could later defeat the survivors to claim their treasures. He then flew into the Cyan Light Pillar and advanced to the second level. The remaining soldiers felt relieved after his departure, acknowledging that he was clearly far stronger than the rest of them. They resumed fighting among themselves, though their battles lasted much longer than Luo Feng's. Upon arriving at the second level, Luo Feng found himself on a dark red land filled with cracks, flowing red liquid, steam, and dark clouds. 5 surviving soldiers from earlier groups were already there, keeping their distance from one another. One of them, a handsome teenager in dark red armor, explained that each round required 10 soldiers and that only 5 survivors from their group remained. So they were waiting for newcomers. Luo Feng learned that none of them knew the nature of the second-level test. They assumed he was the strongest member of his group because he had arrived first, though Luo Feng modestly attributed it to luck. About half an hour later, the remaining 4 survivors from Luo Feng's group arrived. Xu Zhang immediately moved away from Luo Feng, and the others did the same. The 5 soldiers already present noticed their obvious fear of Luo Feng and concluded that he must be extremely dangerous. Just then, 10 pillars of light descended from the sky and enveloped all 10 soldiers. The 10 pillars of light moved so quickly that Luo Feng and the other 9 soldiers had no chance to evade them and were completely enveloped. A voice announced that they had reached the second floor of Wuxia Tower. Each soldier would be transported into a miniature world and subjected to attacks, and their task was simply to survive. The 5 soldiers who had already completed the first floor were given time to recover their godly bodies before entering, while the newly arrived soldiers were warned to recover as quickly as possible. with any attempt to hide inside a spaceship resulting in annihilation. The teenager in dark red armor and 4 other soldiers were transported first. Separated into miniature worlds about 100 million kilometers in diameter. While waiting, they used treasures to restore their godly bodies after the previous battle. Inside one miniature world, a gigantic ancient engraving diagram appeared in the sky, covering the entire world and unleashing countless beams of light, each carrying the power of a true god. The teenager was forced to activate his machine-type treasure to increase his speed and avoid being overwhelmed. The 5 soldiers were continuously attacked by these engraving diagrams while Luo Feng and the others observed. Initially, the attacks seemed manageable, as the beams were only at the level of ordinary true gods and could be resisted with machine-type treasures, leading some to believe the second floor might be easier than the first. However, the situation suddenly changed as the ground cracked open, releasing endless crimson liquid that forced the soldiers into the air and formed enormous dark red giants. These giants solidified into rock-like forms while being continuously replenished by the crimson fluid. The engraving diagrams kept raining beams upon them, but all damage was instantly repaired. The giants then charged at the soldiers with true god-level strength, trapping them in a deadly dilemma. Dodging the beams left them vulnerable to the giants, while defending against the giants exposed them to relentless bombardment. Their godly power was rapidly consumed. Watching from outside, Luo Feng and the others realized how dangerous the second floor truly was. As the giants' endless regeneration combined with constant attacks created a nearly inescapable situation. The waiting soldiers grew increasingly nervous, while Luo Feng remained calm but cautious, wondering if even greater dangers awaited in later trials. Remembering that typically only 1 out of 10 soldiers survived Wuxia Tower, he resolved to be that survivor and carefully observed everything. Meanwhile, near Wuxia Tower stood a 3-story silver palace, the true center of power in godly King Valley. On the 3rd floor sat one of the 4 leaders of the valley, a true god of void space empowered by the godly king, capable of easily destroying powerful beings like the leader of North True Ocean. Watching the events through a light screen, the leader dismissed the struggling soldiers as weak, noting that even stronger elites in the past had failed. Its true mission, entrusted long ago, was to find a peerless genius capable of reaching the 9th floor. Yet no one had succeeded after countless years. Filled with regret and loyalty, it wondered whether the trials should become even more brutal. At that moment, the next group of 5 soldiers, including Luo Feng, began to be transported into their own miniature worlds.